Hello YouTube. I hope you are doing well. Good morning and welcome to another video. So it's a Monday. I've been getting on with some check-ins and I thought, you know what? I'm going to pick up the camera. I'm going to record today as well. Now today is going to be a full day of eating as well as my push day. That's what I'm going to do today. And I want to go over a few things in terms of like my overall mentality and just opening up a little bit in terms of how I feel during certain phases. Now I'm just setting up my walking pad because it was very cold this morning. I did not fancy going for a walk. It's currently 7 a.m. I've been working for around an hour now, so we're just cracking on with check-ins. I'm going to try train a little bit earlier today as well, just because I fancy it. But I'm going to take you through the day. I'm going to make this one a bit more of a yappier one because I feel like doing it. But realistically, what I wanted to chat about is because I spoke to a lot of people at the Arnold Sports Festival who have came up to me and kind of mentioned that they watched the YouTube videos. This is how I set up my walking pad, by the way. I've got a little pad here. Bloody hell, my legs, my knees. But yeah, spoke to a lot of people who essentially, what's happening there? Is that sticking to it? I feel like my bloody whole setup's gonna fall. I really need to set this up better. But regardless, what I was saying was the fact that was speaking to a lot of you guys who mentioned that you really appreciate my honesty and transparency in regards to how I feel and issues I've had when going through my bodybuilding journey, my physique development. And I just want to open up a little bit more because I think my aim of the game of this sort of YouTube channel just in general is inspiring people. I think that's the most important thing. And I think the best way to do that is by achieving cool things, of course, but then also showing people that you're also a normal human, right? You go through the same struggles, the same issues as everyone else. Now it's just all about your mentality towards it and how you perceive that challenge and how you tackle it and how you move on from it, right? Do you learn from that lesson or do you let it sort of make you feel awful, dwindle you down, not feel good about it and not learn from it and just let it become an issue further down the line, push it back into your mind when it comes up again? You're like, right, how do I deal with this? Or is it a hurdle that you overcome, right? You jump that hurdle, you learn from it. So the next time it occurs, you know how to overcome it again, right? And that's something that I really try emphasize with myself and my clients, right? Whenever my clients are going through issues, I say, look, message me straight away. Let me know. Let me be there to support you if you're comfortable with that, right? And one thing I wanted to discuss just with myself is, you know, the feeling of burnout, right? Is something that I talk a lot about, especially when clients are inquiring of myself initially, is that sort of burnout feeling, right? Where you take things a little bit too far and you don't give your body a break, and you got to realize that balance is very important. And I've kind of hit the point now, well, not now, but I did hit the point where over the last 2 weeks, in all honesty, I have been completely overwhelmed, right? Not completely overwhelmed because I'm still managing it, but I've been stupidly busy, right? Things have been occurring that I potentially was not prepared for the amount of workload, right? And it forced me to essentially sacrifice a few things, right? In terms of my social life a little bit, right? I haven't been doing too many social activities over the last couple of weeks. My priority's been work and my clients. And it got to the weekend where, you know, I was still working, I was still doing a lot. I was trying to visit family and stuff just to still create that social connection. But I didn't feel very present, if that makes sense. And, you know, I voiced that to my family as well. I was like, oh, guys, I'm sorry if I'm in a bit of a bad mood. I'm just really tired at the moment. And this is where my mindset is in regards to this is what is important to me. This is my vocation. This is what I love doing. And it's my number one priority. And I know my future self is sitting there thanking me for putting in the work that I'm putting in now or have put in. Because ultimately, the goals that I want to achieve within coaching and bodybuilding, I want to be the best coach in the UK. I want to be a great bodybuilder. I want to be an IFBB pro. They're not going to happen themselves, right? It's not just going to happen out of nowhere. I can't just wake up one morning and have all these accolades ticked off. It requires relentless amount of work, right? And if I say I want to achieve these goals and I face those challenges and they're too hard for me and I give up, well, what does that make me? It makes me a hypocrite, because I tell my clients to go full throttle with their challenges. Realize to reach somewhere that you want to reach, that sort of uncomfortable place, because right now you might be comfortable, right? There is a bridge, okay? And in between that bridge, you're going to be very uncomfortable. Once you reach that area you want to be in, that uncomfortable phase, once you stick at it, you learn from your mistakes, you jump those hurdles, so the next time they occur, you know what to do. That uncomfortable place, that goal becomes your new comfortable zone. And before you know it, it's like second nature. You're doing it like it's on the back of your hand, or whatever that saying is there, right? So for me, no matter how tired I am, no matter how overworked I feel, right? Traveling everywhere, lots of hours of driving, still making sure I'm working, waking up an hour, 2 hours earlier, going to sleep a little later. I'm okay with that because I've got certain things I want to achieve and they're not going to happen by themselves, right? So there is times, guys, where I go to the gym and I do not want to be there, right? I don't want to meal prep. I would love to just order some McDonald's or some KFC or some Domino's because I can't be asked to cook, where I don't want to weigh out my salt, where I don't want to drink all my water, where I want to sleep in a little bit more. I'll get off of that in a moment, but where I do want to just sleep in a little bit more and just do something different per se, right? Potentially just get my mind off of it and just lay on the sofa, scroll through TikTok, right? But that's going to get me nowhere. And I don't want to be like that anyway. And I love the feeling of being challenged. I love the feeling of doing something that I don't want to do, because when I get it done, that fulfillment is so good. Now, I think off the back of that is super important to realize. I think that realistically, one of the only ways you can sustain that is if what you're doing you truly love and you truly enjoy. Luckily for me, that is the case. So when I'm actually doing it, I love it, right? It just sometimes maybe I do a little bit too much where I don't give myself time to sort of relax and chill out, and that's where setting times where I finish work at like 7:30, 8 p.m. during the day. So, before bed, I can just chill out for half an hour of my final meal and really shut off, because most of the time I'll go to bed and I've got a little bit of anxiety. Like, do I check my phone? Because I know probably a few clients have messaged me and I will check it, or I'll be thinking about all the work I've got the next day. And that's also okay, right? Because all the top coaches in the UK, all the top bodybuilders, they have also been through this. They're not an exception, right? They don't just get there, okay? So for me, that's my mindset around it, and I'll open up about it, right? But luckily, I love what I do and I will stick at this. I'll keep persevering. I'll keep gunning down. And ultimately, over the last 2 weeks, nothing has changed in that regard, but it's gotten easier for me. I'm managing it a lot better. And now I've really just said to myself, Mikey, you're not traveling anywhere over the next couple months, mate, because I don't want to. I don't like being out of my structure. I don't like being out of my routine. I've got clients competing. I've got the client meetup, which I'm setting up, which is going to be happening earlier summer. Like, that is my priority, and that's what it's going to be, right? I'm okay with those sacrifices because I understand if I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it for me? So that goal isn't going to manifest out of nowhere. But then also, if it were easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would be in the position that I want to be in, but that's not the case. So the people that do get to that place are the people that realize it requires a lot of work, right? So always keep that in the back of your mind. I don't know if that sounds like a whole load of random shit I've just been talking about, but maybe it does give you some insight just in terms of my mindset and realizing that, not every single day I'm so boom, yeah, let's get it, let's go to the gym, let's train, PB, I'm looking amazing, I'm making progress every single day. Most of the time that's not the case, right? But I still want to be positive and optimistic around it, because if I am negative and I speak down upon myself, everything's just going to cascade downwards as well. And I'm going to have that mentality towards everything. Whereas if I'm positive and optimistic about it, and I look at the positive side, right? The positive side is usually in the future. So stop focusing on the present, stop focusing on right now. Yes, that is also important to be present, but realize what you're doing is for your future self. You're sitting there thanking yourself for doing the work that you've put in. I always think back to where I was, like a month ago, for example, 2, 3, 4 months ago when I was competing. And I say, thank you, Mikey, for doing that, mate. Because I know it was hard, but we're here where we are now because of that. And I want my future self to think that as well, right? And luckily, once again, this is the go-to job. This is my dream job. So it's nothing but a benefit. So I don't want to sound like I'm complaining in that regard, but just realize in all aspects of life, it will always feel like this, right? Unless you just get handed 1 billion and you don't do anything, well, then obviously you're not going to have to put in the work. But then you're just going to feel bored and you're going to have no purpose in terms of what you want, right? So if you are enjoying something that you do, if it provides a challenge for you, if you're consistently developing, whether that's physique, mental, whatever it is, just realize you're on the right path, and that's leading to more knowledge, learning from failures, all these different things. And I truly believe that's what's life about. But anyway, that has been a 10-minute yap at the start of the video. I've got to crack back on with Checkins and get some steps in. I'm going to eat my first meal in around an hour, which will probably be my pre-workout meal, but clients are smashing it. Maybe I'll pop some check-ins left and right of how they're looking, how things are going, because once again, these check-ins are absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. I shall catch you for meal number one. Let's get on with it. Okay, it is time for meal number one, and it is currently 8:15 a.m. It is, well, I am on 5,000 steps for the day already, so the walking pad has been doing its tricks. I've just had Harry check in, who's currently 8 weeks out, hence why I normally eat at 8, but he checked in at 8, so I had to get back to him right away. That is number one priority, and man, is he looking immense. New low weigh in this prep, which is really, really cool. But as well as that, before I get into this meal, I don't often show you what I take first thing in the morning, so I actually delayed it till right before meal number one today, in terms of supplementation, so I shall show you. What I do is I have a coffee and 1.5 liters of water with a scoop of electrolytes and glutamine, 10 grams, first thing in the morning as soon as I wake up. But then also, here is a handful of health supplements. We've got 12, so one serving of cardiac support by Engineered Muscle. We've got 2,000 IUs of vitamin C by Perform, and then copper and zinc as well. So that's the tablets that I take in the morning. Now, as well as that, I've got an Ultra Rosa, which I bought yesterday in Asda because I thought I fancy having a monster for the next 4 days in the morning. So that's what I've done, and I'm glad I did because it's cold out this morning. The sun's starting to come out, so definitely going to get some steps outside later in the day. But this morning, Monday morning, I'm going to get steps on a walking pad, already got a monster. So I'm going to take all of these in a moment. Actually, I won't do it right now. But in terms of everything else, we have got my meal number one, which is 150 grams of raw weight chicken, 150 grams of raw weight veg, and that's carrot, broccoli, and cauliflower. We've got 130 grams of cooked weight, not cooked weight, raw weight, jasmine rice, 130 grams, God, I can't speak, and that has been cooked. I pre-cook my rice and my chicken for like 3 days in advance, rice 2 days, chicken 3 days, and we've got 8 grams of macadamia nut oil in here, which I like to just drizzle on top, and I'm actually going to mix it in a moment. We can pop that into the sink. As well as that, I like to have a little scoop of sauerkraut on the side. You can just get this one from Tesco. It's a lot cheaper, and it's in the Polish section. As you can tell, the Polish section is goated. But what I'm going to do right now, hopefully you can see, is I'm going to be weighing out my salt. So I've got this little micro scale, and I've got a pot. And what I do is I place it on top, and I do 6 grams of pink salt, 4 grams of low salt. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. Relatively simple. Keep my electrolyte balance consistent throughout the days. I never really change it. Sometimes I might do 5 grams pink salt, 5 grams low salt, all these different things. But for now, I'm just doing 6 grams and 4 grams, so that's 10 grams total for the day. You know, if you're relatively new to the gym, or even if you're natural, right, I wouldn't necessarily say you need to weigh out your salt. Now, in my off seasons, did I weigh out my salt when I was natural? No, I didn't. But nearer the tail end of prep, I absolutely did. So, you know, in prep, I think it's beneficial to weigh out your salt. Does everyone need to? No, just as long as you're consistent with it, right? So with Danny, who I had on prep last year, Harry, I don't track his salt, but like with Danny, it was like based off of twists, right? And it was relatively easy. And as long as it stays consistent and you aren't increasing the amount you're seasoning or decreasing constantly and chopping and changing, then you're absolutely fine, right? But for this meal here, I have 3 grams total of the mixture, just because I like a little bit of extra salt pre-workout, and that's pretty much it, right? There's nothing else to it. Today, I cannot be bothered to seasoning it more, so I'm literally just going to season it with salt, which is absolutely banging, isn't it, guys? Who loves a plain old meal? I do. I enjoy it. I can't lie to you. So let's get this together. I'll show you when it's done, and then it's time to eat and then back to work before I head off to the gym. Okay, it is all done, all prepared, sorted, done and dusted. Here we are, as I've already told you, 130 grams of raw weight jasmine rice, 150 grams of raw weight chicken, 150 grams of raw weight veg, a bit of sauerkraut, and a bit of Blue Dragon reduced sugar sweet chili sauce. Now be careful if you use that sauce because it still does have a relatively high amount of calories and it's relatively dense as well. So I definitely recommend weighing it out. That is 10 grams of it. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I will give you a taste test of this meal. And then also the Monster. I haven't had a Rosa in ages and I just drank it and it's absolutely banging. But cheers. So good. Also, in terms of sauerkraut, the reason I have sauerkraut, just good for your overall gut microbiome, right? It's a fermented food, and I like the taste of it. It's a very traditional Polish food as well. Oftentimes eat it with most meals, but the Rosa, lovely, lovely stuff. That is gonna cover the pre-workout meal. I'm gonna eat this and back to work for another hour. And then I will wait 15 minutes and then head off to the gym. So that's a plan of action for this morning. Okay, it is time to go train. And I'm just gonna show you exactly what I'm taking before I train. First off, I filled up another 1.5 liters of water with a scoop of electrolytes. This is my favorite flavor, coconut watermelon. I will never stray away from this flavor. I literally get 3 of these every single month with my order with Perform. So yeah, absolutely unreal. For those of you that are curious, I have 1 serving in the morning and then 1 serving during my workout. I only have 2. And then the other sort of portion of the day, I'll put literally 10 grams of creatine in my big 1.5 liter bottle because it's a peach rings flavor and it flavors a whole entire bottle. And I finish that and that's my 10 grams of creatine as well. But everything else I'm taking, pump, non-stim pre-workout. This one's absolutely immense. One of the best pump products I've ever used. And it comes with a free glycoside powder. Normally they are combined together. Now the reason Perform has separated them simply due to the fact that glycoside is usually thing that clumps up in the tub, so it's really hard to scoop. However, they have separated them so it never clumps up and it's absolutely perfect. 3 grams of this, I think is 16.5 grams for this one here, which I weigh out every single time. And that is my pre-workout sort of supplementation ritual. Nothing crazy. Sometimes I do take a stim pre-workout with a pump, but I've had the Monster today, so that kind of negates that. Usually that's on more intense sessions like my pull days or posterior days. Leg days I don't take anything because the pump just gets unbearable. But yeah, everything Perform wise, boom, link in the bio for 25% off. It does automatically apply my code. And if you do purchase through my link, it does directly support me, which all of you at the Arnold, all of you that watch the videos, all of you that have DM'd me, that told me or said to me, showed me that you use my code and my link, I appreciate it more than you know. So if you do purchase off my link, send me a screenshot. Let's have a good old conversation and allow me to say thank you for the support because it truly means more than you know. And you guys have been running up the code. So yeah, on the way to the gym now. It is currently 9:15, so I'll get there for about 9:30 and it is time for a push session. It has come to that segment of the video where I voice over my training. Now, starting off with abs, okay? So I do abs 3 times a week. And in all honesty, guys, I do kneeling crunches 3 times a week because that is the exercise that I enjoy the most and the one that I'm most consistent with. So I will do it 3 times per week. What I'm really focusing on here, as you can tell, is the curvature of my back, right? So I'm almost trying to bring my head into my hips, okay? And as I'm going up, my spine is flexing inwards. My hips are still locked in position, okay? The only thing that's going up is my sort of shoulder blades and my spine is curving inwards, okay? To elongate my abs as much as possible, all right? And this leads me on to a perfect topic, all right? In your training, train all accessories, abs, arms, calves, adductors, all these things, hamstrings, leg extensions, with as much intensity you would other exercises, okay? Because ultimately, the only way you're going to grow them is with progressive overload and progressive overstimulus. You can't cheat your way for it, all right? Moving forward to 3 sets of seated lateral raise machine. Really enjoying working in the sort of 6 to 10 rep range at the moment. Having a lot of fun with it. Some exercises, majority exercises that are accessories will be maybe a little bit higher, up to 12 reps maximum, but I've switched up my training style a little bit and I'm thoroughly enjoying this. But in this video, rather than going through the actual execution clips, because I've done this multiple times, I just want to speak about mindset in terms of training as well, right? I went into this session off the back of a deload and I wasn't too pumped up for it, in all honesty, right? Not every session you will be pumped up. Not every session will you want to go in and absolutely batter yourself, right? You don't always have that drive for it, whether you're natural or you're enhanced. It's just not a thing. Actually, moving on to this, 3 plates per side, pause, low incline. Very happy with that. But all I did was I just said to myself, Mikey, every session counts. You're going to make this one count, especially right off the back of a deload. You've got 9 days left in your off season. Why would I go in and half-ass a session, right? The only person I'd be cheating is myself in that circumstance, okay? Because my goals that I'm achieving or I'm trying to achieve are for myself, right? Yes, I want to use them for good in terms of inspiring others, in terms of my clients, you guys who watch the videos on social media. Like, I want people to know what's capable of if you put your mind to it. If you've got the right attitude towards things and you put in the work ethic, you can achieve a lot of great things. And I want to be able to provide that for a lot of people to realize, right? Or maybe get an inclination of what I do. But not always do I want to go into the sessions. But then I realized, right, myself, there's been times where that's happened multiple times before, and I go into the sessions and they end up being great sessions, right? I look back on it, fantastic session, even though I might not have felt at it at the time, right? And this is where common conversations I have with my clients is in regards to, right, you go into a session, my weight isn't progressing, I'm not lifting more, I'm getting weaker, it's really demotivating me. What you have to think about, right? Yes, that's very valuable information to have, especially given to your coach. But what you've got to realize is when you go into your training sessions, you only can do the most you can given that session, okay? You right then and there in the present, okay? Your body does not know the weight it's lifting. I've said this multiple times. It does not know the number that's on the stack, the plates that you're putting on. It only knows the mechanical tension, the stimulus you're creating upon a targeted muscle group. You might not have slept as good the previous night. You might not have drank enough water before your session. You might not have digested your pre-workout as good, or you're just having a stressful day. There's a plethora of things that could be occurring, right? But what you have control over is your mindset going into that session. And regardless of how you feel, regardless of the things leading up to that workout, the workout's a workout. It's a different mindset. You're locking yourself in, all right? And if you still train to that proximity towards failure, I always speak about, right? Training as close to failure as possible, all right? Not to the point where you're shredding your form away, right? Mechanical failure. I don't like to cheat any of my reps. I don't like to wiggle. I don't like to bounce. Essentially, the way that I like to describe mechanical failure is as many reps as you can get with perfect form, right? That doesn't mean every rep is going to look consistent as it does, right? One rep, your final last 2-3 reps might be significantly slower, but as long as your form doesn't deteriorate, that is how you should be training. Now, you know, if you're relatively new to the gym, your mind or your ability to identify where that failure is or actually train to failure is probably not there, okay? So you have to develop that skill. That's why oftentimes when someone's new to the gym, I'll program them a lot more sets so they have experience to actually train hard and push themselves and have more sets learning and exercise, right? But then also they will not understand what going to true failure is. They have to learn that over time, and that's where I use form videos to really dig that into them and drill it into them, right? But ultimately, making sure you can do the most you can given that day is all that matters, because then you are progressing in a sense, okay? Because you're doing the most you can. That day you might have gone into it because you had a bad mindset, because you weren't feeling good, but you didn't train as hard, right? Well, then you left progress on the table. Whereas if you completely flip that mindset, go in, bloody push yourself hard, have a fun time, have exercises you enjoy, okay? Learn exercises. And then most importantly, guys, too many times do I see people chopping and changing their splits on a consistent basis. Why, right? Ask yourself why. Pick a split, pick exercises that you enjoy, okay? And stick at them for a long time. Get strong at them, improve your form. But when I program someone a split, it takes 8 to 10 weeks for them just to nail the execution of every exercise. And if it's been 8 to 10 weeks and you're already looking at switching your exercises and your split, well, you've only just learned them, right? Give it a good chunk of time to get stronger, to get better, to improve once again. It's the only way that that's going to occur. Yes, maybe when it comes to certain aspects, I might change an exercise here or there. But for the longest time, I've been doing the exact same thing because I'm getting progress out of it. I just improve upon every exercise. I'm 28 weeks into this training split. I don't plan on changing it, nor does Tim, I don't think, unless we need to specifically bring up body parts. But now my form and execution, 28 weeks later, is quite literally perfect on everything. made for me, right? For me, the way that I enjoy it and I get the most growth out of it, right? So really take that into consideration too when creating your own training splits, having conversations with your coach. Make one that you enjoy. Don't be scared to tell them what you enjoy and just have fun, all right? Enjoy the rest of the video. Right, everybody, we are back from the gym and there is a bit of an abomination going on over here, but I'm going to take you through my post-workout meal. As well as that, maybe I'll pop up some posing photos of me training, because that was a really good session. I've just come off of the back of a 4 or 5 day deload. I did train once, but it was a very light session when I went up to Rotherham. This session felt really good, but I'm at the point now in my off season where, to be honest, progression hasn't really moved within the last 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to mention that to Tim, but sessions felt great, right? Pump isn't as good as it has been before, but I've just come off the back of a deload, so I've got to expect that. Numbers are pretty much exactly where they were. Session was good, enjoyed myself, relatively happy with the look as well. Not much to complain about. We just get things done. We tick on. I show up every single day. Consistency is what matters the most, as we all know. You can't expect things to happen overnight. And, you know, this off season is going to be 28 weeks total. And, you know, week to week, it's very hard to see the progression. But where you do see the progression is where you diet back down, where you see the start of the off season to the end of the off season. That's why patience is key in this game. And, you know, even for myself, sometimes I struggle in an off season, in a diet, not happy with the way I look, feeling like progress is slow. But once again, you've got to remind yourself why you're doing it. And hopefully you're doing it because you love it ultimately, right? But it is time for the post-workout meal, which I've actually created already because I filmed a little TikTok for it. But we have got 100 grams of oats, 65 grams worth of cereal, that's caramel choco shells, 200 grams worth of blueberries, and then 50 grams of whey. Now, the exciting part about the whey is that I have used 2 new flavors and I've gone 50-50. All right, first flavor, French toast maple swirl, which is incredibly good. And then the second flavor is the churro pretzel. Now this one's my favorite out of all the samples because there are 5 new flavors coming to perform, but you've got to try them out and you've got to vote which one you like the most, and that will become a permanent item. I've got 3 flavors yet to try. I have tried all of them at the Arnold's, so I know the churro is my favorite, but Vincent the Caterpillar, really, really good. Tastes very much like just chocolate, right? And also the shell of Smarties. That's the way that a lot of people have been putting it, and it's true. Cinnamon Crunch is absolutely fantastic. Tastes like Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal. Like, that's the only way I can put it. And then the Raspberry White Chocolate Matcha, which is really, really nice, right? It's not very earthy. It's got that sweet performed taste, but it's also got that sort of mild subtleness, if that's the right word. I really enjoy that one as well, but I'll give you a more accurate representation. French toast maple swirl is nice, but probably my least favorite out of all of them, just because it's just very, very sweet, and I'd like it to have more of that French toast flavor, but it doesn't really. And then the churro pretzel, it tastes exactly what it tastes like, or the name of it. Unreal, really, really good. I will try both right now for you as well. So we'll get a bit of the churro one. Voila. I mean, wow. It's so good. I hope that becomes the permanent one. And then a bit of the, what was it? French toast maple swirl. Yeah, there we are. I mean, that is really good as well. Churro's still better, but both are absolutely unreal. I am going to put a little bit of cinnamon on top of this as well, because I do love me some cinnamon. Is absolutely banging. I'm just going to put it in the middle so I can enjoy the waves by themselves. But yeah, that is all sorted. I've got to put all of this stuff away as well. I have also just done 10 grams of creatine in this, as I told you guys. And then I'm going to take my daily supplementation. And from my total salt of the day, that was 1.5 grams in there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Not much else to cover. Last but not least, actually, so got back to the gym at around 12. What's the time now? I don't even know where my Apple Watch is. I think it's charging. But it is currently 1 o'clock right now, just because Lazo, who's also on prep, had to check him in straight away. So he checked in at around 11:30. I got back at 12, boom, straight on it. I had a few messages that I needed to get back to. That was the #1 priority. And that's pretty much it, right? So other than that, work's been getting down. I'm going to eat this, chill for like an hour, then back to work for the rest of the day. I have 3 new clients to set up as well. So that is a priority of mine, just working through their programs. So very excited to get them started. But If any of you out there listening to this interested in coaching whatsoever, click the link in my description to inquire completely for free, have a conversation, figure out whether you want to work with me or not, and take your goals to the next level. That's what I'll say. Like, the amount of people joining the team is growing so rapidly. I mean, it's coming up to summer, of course it is, right? Everyone wants to get in shape, look good on the beach, enjoy themselves, and get after some goals, whether you're on prep, whether you want to compete in the future. The right time to start is now. There is no perfect time. Get ahead of the curve. Your future self will thank you, but link in the description for that one there. So I'm going to eat this. Don't think there's anything else I need to cover. Just doing my washing as well. Put my whites on, blacks are hanged up. The boxers are sitting there because I'm going to tumble dry them with my socks and my white boxers. And I'm going to be doing towels as well. So bit of a busy one. Not really. I love this shit. We all know I do. So yeah, catch you for meal number 3, which is a nice one. I'm excited for it. Wow, what a productive day it's been so far. It's been a very good day. We are on to meal number 3 and I'm going to prep it with you guys. I'm going to take you through probably every single meal I make today, just so I can yap a little bit longer in the video itself. But first off, I've got 1 gram of salt in this meal here, so I'm going to weigh that out. I always like to weigh it out in a separate container, so I'm not eyeballing it, because there are certain meals I just prefer to taste a little bit saltier than others. And if, for example, my rice and beef mince meal was less salted, I just wouldn't enjoy it anywhere near as much. Hence why I use a little bit less salt in this meal here, and also in my cream of rice and oats meals, just because I really don't need it as much. But yes, I still do like salt in those meals, and I spread it out relatively evenly across all of my meals. I go 3 grams, 1.5 grams, 1 gram, 3 grams, 1.5 grams, and that's my total 10 grams for the day. But what this meal consists of, I can actually take you through it now. We have got inside of here 120 grams of lettuce. As you know, I've been enjoying my sort of egg salad with a bit of that Uncle Ben's reduced sugar sauce, around 50 grams of it, so that's like 10 calories. And then we've got 100 grams of egg whites with 2 large eggs in there. And what I do is I get the spoon from the previous meal or whatever, or even that big one there, and I quite literally just break this all apart, right? Because then it creates like little pieces that I can add into the almost like the salad itself, and it just makes it taste a hell of a lot better. Gives a little bit of texture as well. And then in here I have got 100 grams worth of sourdough, which I cut up. I literally let it sit for like 15 minutes coming out of the freezer now, so it's a lot easier to cut. I chop it up and then I mix it all in there, and it's like little breadcrumbs. It's really nice. But that is pretty much what this meal consists of. Let me make it and then I shall show you when it's done. It is all done. We are all in the clear. Meal number 3 is done. I've already taken you through what it is, but there it is. And I shall give you a taste test of this one here. I absolutely love this meal. Once again, a staple in my diet, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's something that I've been doing as of recent, the sort of salad differences, I guess. Normally I do it with tomato, but lettuce is just as good. Lovely and refreshing, really enjoy it, especially since the sun's come out a little bit. Definitely going to go on a walk before my final meal of the day, just to get a bit of, well, I've only got 1,000 steps left to do, but I'll probably end up going on like a 20-30 minute walk before bed, because I like to do that. It kind of calms me down before bed as well. But one thing I just wanted to have a very quick conversation on is something that I used to struggle with a lot when I was younger, especially when dieting, especially when bulking, in all of my preps. And it's something that I only learned from my last prep and going into this off season. Is me personally as an individual, I always thought there were secrets to dieting, to bulking, to prepping. I'm like, why on earth does this person get it so easy? Why do they eat more calories? Or why are they not struggling during their prep? Why can they get lean so easy? Why is it so easy for them to bulk and not feel hungry throughout their bulk, right? But then this is where perception and mindset comes into play a lot, because I used to say that all the time, and quite frankly, it was because I wasn't willing to put the work in, and I wanted to find the cheat codes to get there the easiest route, right? But then I really asked myself, right, what does taking the easy route teach me? Absolutely nothing, right? Whereas when I started embracing the suck, where I realized everyone goes through quite literally the exact same thing, right? I've got clients that struggle to lose weight, right? And then sometimes it just clicks out of nowhere and their body starts responding. Or some clients that click very early, slow down later on, right? Obviously I'm there to support them, but being able to explain through personal experiences that going through dieting phases, bulking, whether you're cutting, whatever the case is, there will always be times where it's difficult. There will be times where your body isn't responding the way that you or your coach expect it to be, right? And that's where a learning opportunity arises. But then also, don't try and find all these cheat codes to make it so easy for you, right? Don't start comparing yourself to others, maybe to myself, to natural bodybuilders you might see on Instagram or YouTube, the enhanced bodybuilders, the top pros, right? One thing that they all have in common most of the time is that they've done it multiple times, right? So it just gets easier psychologically for them. But then also, they embrace the suck, right? And the reason I think embracing the suck is so important, because physique development, bodybuilding, going to the gym in general, isn't only just for looks, right? Yes, that's a massive aspect of it, and also being healthy. But the things you learn along the journey, right? Being able to embrace that uncomfortable period, really being able to say to yourself, do you know what? I am starving. I can barely brush my teeth, barely get up off of my sofa. However, I'm going to push through and persevere. What you learn through that journey can be taken into all avenues of life, whether it's family, friendships, social, business, your career, anything whatsoever. That is invaluable, and not a lot of people have that trait, and not a lot of people can learn it through this, or learn it through an easy way. Bodybuilding is an easy way to learn that, because they aren't willing to go through that suck, right? But if you are an individual, right, who differentiates himself from someone else, and you embrace that suck, and you say, do you know what? I'm gonna bloody do it, right? I'm hungry. Maybe I'm not enjoying the off season. Maybe training isn't going so well, but I'm going to show that consistency, right? I'm going to show up every single day. I'm going to be disciplined, but then most importantly, resilient, right? So when challenges do occur, as I mentioned earlier, you ask your coach for help, you figure them out yourself if you don't have a coach, and you carry on going and you learn from it, right? Because I think in life, if you're constantly trying to find cheat codes, trying to find something that's going to make it easier for you, where is the fun in that, right? You want to be able to challenge yourself. Look at the most successful people in the world. Look at the best bodybuilders in the world. They've always been through adversity. They've always had difficult dieting phases, always had difficult bulks. And the reason that they're at top of the game is because they've been through that multiple times, probably hundreds, if not tens of hundreds, right? Whatever the case is there for them. But they've been through it multiple times, and each time it happens, they get better, but they also learn more and more and more and more, right? Yes, genetics play a part, but also just like business, right? Trying to be successful in life, trying to live a happy life, right? Challenging yourself, trying to improve yourself on a daily basis is a fundamental to be successful, at least in my opinion, right? And bodybuilding, physique development really allows you to do that. And sometimes as well, this was once again hard for me to do when I was younger, is drop your ego, right? And what I mean by that is you might have had a successful bulk, you might have had a successful diet, which really worked for you, right? And you might start working with a coach, or you want to learn something new. They might have a completely different style, or they might want to try something new with yourself. Be open to try it, because you never know if something's easier, if it will benefit more, if you will learn something out of it, right? Learning, I think, is the key to all of this. But anyway, that's a bit of a ramble. I just was thinking about that when I was working a little bit, because I had a conversation with one of my clients just there. And, I think constantly trying to evolve yourself, run towards adversity that, isn't negatively going to ruin your life, in terms of you don't want to do something crazy or make something be a massive issue than it needs to be, right? But dieting, right? Maybe the diet would be really hard right now. I'd want to stay in the bulk a little bit longer. Like, trust me, I would want to bulk a little bit longer right now, because I'm still ravenous in my diet. I'm still hungry. I'm relatively lean. I don't feel fat. I can definitely push my bulk on. And the easy route would be, let's push the bulk on. But I've been bulking for 28 weeks. I want to diet down. I want to reveal what I've built, and I want to be able to critique myself, so I know in my next off season what I really need to work on. But then also I'm resensitizing myself to go into another off season. Now look, this diet is going to be difficult for me, like no doubt about it, because I am so hungry. The reverse is going to be difficult because I am already so hungry. But I'm willing to go through that, because I know every time I've been through a bulk, a diet, a reverse, I have improved every single time. And that feeling of knowing that you've improved the whole process, and you've come out the other end a better way, and you look back on, damn, when I dieted 2 years ago, I was shit at this. Now I'm actually a little bit better, and it was a little bit more enjoyable. That will keep compounding, all right, guys? So just believe in yourself, be optimistic. That's also key. Optimism, positivity. Keep working towards those things, and you'll achieve some pretty cool things in and outside of life. I can promise you that. Like, that's a conversation I've had with a few of my clients today. A few of the younger lads, just saying to them, I'm not taking credit for this at all, but I say to them, seeing you develop physically with your physique development, but then also how you've matured mentally, your mindset upon things is really, really cool to be a part of. I'm not saying I caused that for them, but it's cool seeing it happen. And, I've had a few of them say, Mikey, I appreciate you because you helped me with that, right? Being able to guide them, me being for them as long as they need, as often as they need. As soon as something pops up, they have the confidence and the comfort to message me, to ask for that support. And most importantly, they trust me, right? And that's one of the coolest positions to be in, but being able to watch people do that, trust me, from my end, right, you might be thinking, what is he on about? It is always worth it. All right, so I'm going to eat this and I'll catch you at meal number 4. Maybe none of that made sense, but I hope it got through to some of you. It's time for meal number 4. Hope everybody is doing well. Just got off the phone with my older brother, nice old chat. Spoke to my mum in between last meal as well. Always like to catch up. As I always say, family is number 1 and is the most important thing for me. Always. And then obviously the clients as well, right? They're like family to me anyway. So we are on to meal number 4, which is 100 grams of raw weight jasmine rice. I think I was debating switching on my rest days, one of my rice portions to potato, because someone did comment it. So I'm gonna give it a try next rest day. Switch one of my meals to white potato and see how that feels in terms of satiation, because as I said, I'm hungry. So if I can have something that fills me up a little bit more and is still just as good for me, absolutely fine. And I'm not over volumizing. Like, that's one thing I'm not doing this off season, or I'm going to do in the diet, is over volumize things. I'm going to stick with the exact same cream of rice, oats, water ratio. That's not changing whatsoever. Like, no over volumizing my rice, even though that's pretty much impossible. And then the only thing that I'll probably implement is Ninja Creamies, right? That's pretty much it. But this meal, as I was going to it, 100 grams of raw weight jasmine rice, 175 grams of 5% beef mince, 150 grams of veg, carrot, broccoli, cauliflower, a bit of sauerkraut, and a bit of reduced sugar sweet chili. 2.5 grams. Actually, I switched it up today of my salt mixture, so I'll be having 2 grams for my final meal. And dill and smoked paprika. That is that meal there. I'll give you a taste test. Absolutely phenomenal. Cheers, everybody. Banging. Okay, that is so good today. What I will show you as well is the sweet chili that I use, because someone asked me on Instagram. That is that one I use. I only use like 5 to 10 grams of this, very sparingly, because it does have 156 calories per 100 grams. So, 10 grams of that is 15 calories. If I use 5 grams, that's roughly, 7.5, right? Roughly there. And then in terms of sauerkraut, I've already shown you, but this is the one I use, sauerkraut. And then in terms of the actual sweet and sour I use, that has very little calories that oftentimes I just mix in all together. It's this one, Ben's Original, sweet and sour, no added sugar per 100 grams. We are talking 27 calories, right? No fat, 5.4 gram of carbohydrates, pretty much trace protein 0.5, less than 0.5. So yeah, it's absolutely ideal. I've got my whey drips sitting in the fridge as well for my final meal of the day. Quick little tip, yeah. With your whey drip, so I've gone for the cinnamon crunch and the raspberry white chocolate matcha flavor. So I'll give you a review of those as well. Which one did I have earlier? It was churros and the maple French toast one. They were banging. Churros 10 out of 10, maple one 9 out of 10. So I'll let you know how these are. But whey drips, if you make them right, make them a little runnier than you'd like. They don't have to be too runny. Don't make it like water, right? But you don't have it too thick. And then you pop it in the fridge for literally half an hour. Mine's going to be sitting in there for ages, but it will literally turn like ice cream and it will turn so thick. So if you ever muck your whey drip up and you get it too thin, just pop it in the fridge, all right? Always start with less water and add more in very small increments. I just eyeball it at this point because I'm the whey drip cream of rice expert, all right, and oats expert. I'll take bloody all of them. But even if it gets clumpy and you can't mix it all together because it's very thin, pop it in the fridge, let it thicken up, then you can mix it all together and get rid of the clumps. Top tip for you guys, all right? So I'm gonna eat this. I've already edited pretty much most of this video. I'll just have to add the final 2 clips in, unless there's gonna be more clips. Unreal day of check-ins. Like, man, the team are smashing it. I would have shown you guys some of the check-ins already. Yeah, it's pretty insane if you ask me, all right? So no, team is smashing it. I could not be more proud as always. And that's one of the coolest thing with working with individuals that are like-minded with myself is, I always like to share as many of my experiences growing up, right? So from when I was 16 starting to the gym to now, I've been going for 8 years because I want people to listen to my story and the things that I've been through, you know, the binge eating side of things. And if you guys ever want to hear more about that, leave some comments and I'll mention and talk about it next video. I'm more than open to do so. But because I'm open with that with my clients and with previous videos, that's what a lot of my inquiry is about, right? Because people relate to me. They know I've gone through something and I've come out the other end and I've mentored or help people through similar things. And that's one of the best parts about the job, is seeing people develop. And you know, I love working with the young lads as well. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean, right? The people who are relatively new into their gym journey is always so fun. And even when I get like people on the who are older than me, right? That's also just as fun because you get to show them a different path of life almost. It's really cool. And then people that are advanced, that, you know, have the trust in you to get them to that next position is one of the most fulfilling feelings ever. But anyway, I'm going to eat this, crack on with more work as always. Just got a few messages I need to get back to, a few questions, which clients going into different phases. So just supporting them, replying to questions throughout the check-ins. Always have plenty of conversations afterwards in regards to topics, questions that might occur, and they sporadically come throughout the day because people are at university, school, work, whatever the case is. So I've got to make sure I'm available all day, right? Catch you in meal number 5, which, man, I'm already looking forward to, if I'm honest with you. That's bad. And just like that, it is time for the best time of the day, meal number 5, the cream of rice meal, all right? So I will take you through it. What we have got is cream of rice, white chocolate hazelnut, all right? And I'll take you through the protein powder flavors in a moment, but have a look at that. This is why Perform is the GOAT. There is no other cream of rice that comes out in this consistency, tastes as good, and quite frankly, digests as well. For me, Perform is absolutely phenomenal. Flavor-wise, consistency, the ease to make, top tier. You guys know already, like, there's a reason I've been using them for like 3-4 years. It's absolutely nuts. I am forever grateful to be able to work with them. Honestly, the opportunity to work with them is one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me. So yeah, let's make the cream of rice the final meal of the day. I'll bring you a bit closer so you can enjoy the making of it, even though you probably don't care. But final bit of salt gone in there, so that's 10 grams total for the day. We are going to, actually, I'm going to do the dark chocolate first. Boom, 25 grams of 85% dark chocolate. So this is actually 125 grams of cream of rice, 25 grams of 85% dark chocolate, 50 grams of whey, 200 grams of blueberries, and that is it. All right, so that is this meal. But let's get the actual blueberries on top now. So this is going to be 200 going on top, and that will kind of cool it down and not make it as piping hot. I've just realized as well, which probably isn't a good thing, but because my washing machine or my tumble dryer has been on all day, essentially, I think it's causing a bit of an issue in my freezer where things are melting and then freezing, and I've got loads of like built up ice. But screw it, what can I do? Absolutely nothing. And there's a bit of melted blueberries on my countertop. I get a lot of OCD, especially when I clean. Like every time I stand up, I'm like wiping everything down a million times, even though it gets messy most of the time. But anyway, there is the blueberries. We'll get them spread out throughout the actual cream of rice. That is a huge blueberry at the bottom there. I don't know if you can see that. That is like a chunky one. It's probably one of the biggest blueberries I've seen in my life. They just injected that full of Tren or something. Jesus. But pretty cool, all right? Next up, we're going to get a bit of cinnamon on top. So I'm going to get a carpet of cinnamon, just finish off this Aldi one. I'm going back to the Costco one because I actually do prefer the Costco one, and having this specific cinnamon, which is Saigon, is actually the best type of cinnamon for you. I don't know why. I just heard Jack Eagle say it, so I'm saying it as well. And that's just me being honest, all right? Now, in terms of everything else, we have got 2 whey protein flavors I'm trying out. We've got the raspberry white chocolate matcha and the cinnamon crunch flavor. So I'll give you a review of them now. Let's start off with the cinnamon crunch, okay, before I pour it on top. And when I was telling you, put it in the fridge, look how thick that is. That's pretty immense. But let's give it a little taste test. I don't want to waste it all. Whoa. That is a very, very strong cinnamon flavor with the taste of like golden grahams. I don't know if you ever tried that. Pretty much like cinnamon toast crunch. That's exactly what cinnamon toast crunch is, but a bit more of like a I don't know, a bit, it's not as sweet cinnamon. It's more like Saigon cinnamon with like a cinnamon toast crunch sort of a hint behind it. That's unreal. That's really, really nice. I'll get that over this side. I'm going to 50-50 yin and yang it so there's an even spread and I can enjoy this cream of rice to its utmost potential. Oh, I'm not letting any of that go to waste, best believe it. I'll be licking out this entire thing. Hey, yo. And then the white chocolate, raspberry white chocolate matcha. Let's give that a try. That's a pretty cool color. I really like that. That's very satisfying. Oh, damn, that's good. That's number 2. Churros, raspberry, white chocolate matcha, cinnamon crunch, maple one, and then still to review Colin the Caterpillar. It's not actually Colin the Caterpillar. It is Vincent the Caterpillar, right? Don't get it twisted. But from what I can remember, that's kind of joint with the maple one with me. But that is really, really nice. It's got a nice matcha flavor. Like, you know when you get a matcha, I don't know if you guys have ever had matcha without any sweeteners. That's not very nice. I don't enjoy it at all, quite frankly. But then as soon as you add in a bit of sweetener, maybe some vanilla, maybe some, I don't know, some sugar-free sweetener, whatever it is, it tastes a million times better. That's exactly what that tastes like, with a very small hint of raspberry, more white chocolate than anything. That's really, really nice. 9.5 out of 10 for that one. And then cinnamon toast crunch, I'll give a 9, joint with maple. Man, that's so good. But anyway, there is the final meal. Have a look at that creation. That is a beauty. I'm going to enjoy this meal and wrap it off here. So it is currently literally just hit 8 p.m. Went on a nice old walk and called my grandma because I haven't spoke to my grandma. She's over in Poland. And then ended up on 16,000 steps for the day, minus 2,000 because of my cardio. So 14,000 total, which look, hey, it's absolutely fine. If I go over, I don't mind too much because it makes me feel good, both mentally and physically. But guys, thank you as always for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed a bit of a yap fest today. It is definitely a bit more of a yappy one. I have no idea how long this video is going to end up to be, but I assume more than 40 minutes. If I could kindly ask you guys to leave a like below, that would be great. Let's see if we can hit 100 likes. And I know a lot of you out there watching the video still aren't subscribed, so it would mean the world with me, or to me, if you clicked the subscribe button. It only takes 2 seconds. And hey, if you regret it, you can always unsubscribe. But I promise you, you won't, all right? Road to 5K is on, and I reckon it's going to happen sooner than we think because the YouTube's flying at the moment. And I couldn't thank you guys more for the support. But once again, if you're interested in coaching, link in the bio. Perform, link in the bio as well, 25% off there. Love you guys, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, all right? I'll catch you next, probably Wednesday on my check-in day, the final check-in of the off-season, take you through a nice old leg day as well, and make it a bit of a day in a life, or maybe just a leg day. We shall see. Take it easy, guys. Appreciate you big time.